Hello. Today we're going to learn finger knitting. Finger knitting is a bit like French knitting. You will be creating a braid, and the problem with this kind of knitting is what you do with it. And what you do with it is create yourself a scarf. Here in Yorkshire we call this an indoor scarf because we need it. If you're a southerner, you might not need that. You could also call this a summer scarf, which you might not need, but that's what we're going to do. And this is one whole ball of wool made like this. So if I just take it off, what you're making is a braid. Obviously you could use this for a handle of a bag. That would be a good thing to do. You can make it into a scarf like this, and you can make it into different patterns. I've seen it sewn together like this to make a flower. So you're just going to go around like that kind of thing to make a flower. But we need to know how to make this braid. So this is something that we don't need loads of equipment for, because all we need is some wool and some fingers. That's all. Finger knitting. This is a great one to do with children. This is a great one to do. The only disadvantage of this is that you can't stop. You can't put it down and come back to it. You have to do the whole thing in one go. So if you're sitting down here now and you've got 5 minutes before you've got to nip off to get the bus, don't do it. You need to be able to do this one when you have a nice long afternoon to have a go at. So all you need is some wool, and you can do this with absolutely any wool. If this is all you've got, double knitting, you could learn it like this. But really, in order to make a scarf, and that is what we're going to do today, chunky is best. And also, one of these self-striping ones is also really good. You can see the pattern on this one has been created with different things. You can stop and start, but you're always going to see the knot when you join them together. So if you can get one of these that has several different colours in it, and a chunky one, that will be really great. So pull off your label and start like this. So this is how we start. We're going to get our hand and we're going to get our wool. Left or right-handed, it doesn't matter, whatever feels most comfortable to you. I'm right-handed and I'm going to do this on my left hand. So I'm holding my hand up like this. So you're looking at the inside of your hand. Okay, I'll keep turning it around so that you can see, but you should be looking like this. I painted my nails today so that you can see which side is nice and easily. And we're going to just hold on like that, just to start with. That's all we're doing, just holding it with our thumb. So I've just put it in there, just going to hold it. You're only going to have to do that for the very first one, and then you can drop it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back towards me so that that's what you're doing, and we are going to go in and out. So spread your fingers like that. We don't need that this time, we need that. And you're going to go in and out of each one. When you get to the end like that, we're going to go in and out again, like that. Now you need to have 2 loops on every finger, and that is not what we've got there because there is 1 loop on every finger. So we're going to go around again, and now you will find yourself 2 loops on this finger, but only 1 loop on this one, 2 on that one, 2 on that one, and only 1 on that one. So you need to keep looking. You can be looking on the inside as well, and then you go round again. And every time you do this, you need to check that you've got 2 loops on each finger. So we've got 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. Okay? And you're looking at it like that from either side. You can look at it from this side. I'm just doing that for the camera. When we've got that, where we've got 2 on each one, starting with your little finger, you are going to pick up the bottom loop. You need to keep this all nice and loose as well. Like crocheting, it needs to be nice and loose. Pick up the bottom one and pull it over. I'm going to just turn my hand around so that you can see from there. That's what you'll be looking at. Pick that up and bring it over. Pick the bottom loop up and hook it over the top. Pick the bottom loop up and hook it over the top. And that's what you've got. From the other side, you've now got 1 on each, and I'm going to just move them down a little bit on my fingers, and now we've got 1. So we need to pick up that end again and wind around. Have I got 2 on all of them? No, I haven't. I've got to wind it round 1 more time so that I can see, have I got 2? I've got 2 on there. On the inside here, I've got 2, 2, 2 and 2 with that last one. So I'm going back again to my little finger and I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to drop it over the top. So I'm going to pick this bottom one up and I'm going to bend my finger so it'll come off. Pick the bottom one up, pull it over, pick the bottom one up, pull it over. Now at this stage I can let go of that one because that's fine. Just give it a little tug at the back like that. Now we're just going to carry on. So we're going to move it down our fingers a little bit, keeping everything nice and loose. I'm going to wind it round until I have 2 on each one. Have I got 2? Lovely, yes I have. So I'm going to take the bottom one off and drop it. 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 Every so often, give yourself a little tug on that one. Just a little tug like that. Now at first you're going to think, it's not doing anything. You're going to look at that and you're going to go, it's not doing anything. And every single time I teach this to children, that is what they say. They go, it's not doing anything. You just need a little bit of patience with this. Okay, so we're going to pick up that one again and we're going to wind it around so that we have got 2 on each finger. Okay, and then I'm going to pick it up and drop it, pick it up and drop it, pick it up and drop it, pick it up and drop it. Wiggle it down, give it a tug. You don't need to tug it every single time. And then we're going to go round again so that we've got 2 on each finger. Just checking, have I got 2? Oh, I have. I'll move it down. I'm going to do that. And then we're going to keep going. If you keep looking, you start noticing what you've got on the other side. Okay, so you're just going to keep along going, picking it up and dropping. You don't want to have this too tight. You really should have your fingers spread most of the time. Don't let them suck back together because that is what they're going to want to do. So that they're going to want to suck back together. Keep it all nice and loose. If you're joining our Learn to Crochet course next week, this is a fantastic skill to start with because it is exactly what you need to do in crochet. So if you're going to learn crocheting or knitting at another point, you need to keep it like this, really loose. So don't keep pulling everything tight. Keep it as loose as you can without it falling off. No doing this as you pull it. Just really gently, making sure each time you wind it around, winding it around from this end, pulling it off from the other end, you're just going to be really, really gentle all the way through. And when you keep going, you will end up, you can start to see now that you've got that like that. Now because this is chunky wool, you're just going to end up with a really nice long thing that will become a scarf when it goes on there. It becomes more and more. If you were to do it with this, you'll get the same thing, but it will look a lot looser. So you need to keep going. Now you can't put this down now. I've sent many a child home with this on their hand at the end of a school day. You can't put it down. If you need to go and make a cup of tea, you're going to use your right hand. But you need to keep going all the way until you get to the very end. Now, because I'm not going to get you to sit and watch me do it all the way through to the end, I'm just going to show you what to do when you do get to the end. So imagine now that that was the end. We've used the whole of the ball of wool and you can see that that's coming. Or it's got to the length you want. You can keep putting it up and thinking. You might not want to do it 3 times round like that. You might want to do a bit less. And this is what we're going to do to finish. So we're going to go the same way that we did before with 2 loops on each finger. So you need to make sure you've got enough wool left to end up with 2 loops on each finger. And this time when you pull it over, actually I think you just need to pull that over first of all the same way now I think about it. Yes, first of all we need to do exactly the same thing. And then you need to pull that one over onto the other finger, which will then give you 2. And then pull that off. Pull this one over onto the next finger and then pull that off. Pull this one over onto the next finger. So we've got our last 2 and then pull that off. And then we've got just 1 loop left. We're going to thread the end. This is really similar to crochet. Thread the end all the way through and pull it. And that now won't come off. when I made this one, and I made it with the 3 loops that are round like that, I used the end one to pull it together. So I used that and that to tie, so that you could make it like that if you wanted to. Okay, so you're just ending up with this lovely coloured loop like that to string around. You can coil them up into pots actually. I'll show you with this one because it's a bit longer, that you can do this and coil it up a bit like those ones, those clay pots, where you're doing it like that, and then you have to sew through the whole thing. You can also do it in that spirally way to make it into a rug by keeping going around like that. That takes a lot of sewing. But I don't think any of those things are really what you want to do. I think you need a scarf. It's ever so chilly here today. Make yourself a lovely scarf. One afternoon, one ball of wool, a lovely quiet time. Have fun.